Send out the replay. Okay, so we're going to start by talking about the time tracking, and then we're going to get into the 3 things that you can do to be more profitable in your business right now. And yeah, if anybody's watching and you've been following the Business Witchery things for some months now, if you were interested in joining us in November in Florida for the Business Witchery live retreat, officially, I'm cutting off enrollment. So you got to get in for that if you want to, because I've been like dancing between 2 bookings for the events, the condo I'm renting, and I have to choose it like now. We're not going to have one. So I'm going to fill this. There will be no beds remaining. So let me know, if that was something you're interested in. Okay. So the time tracking. This was eye-opening for me, and it was eye-opening for me. I wasn't expecting it to be so eye-opening for me because I am a planner. So one of the things we do in the Society of Business Witchery every quarter, I talk about planning for the quarter. And then with my own real-life Sisters Enchanted teammates who work with me here, we do a quarterly planning. And you guys can't, the light's crazy. So you see here, this is the last week of September. It says Salem. We'll be in Salem that whole week. So there's nothing on it. But for an entire quarter, I print off 3 months worth of weekly calendars that have the hours of 5 a.m. to 10 till, I guess they end at 11 p.m. on it. And I fill out for a whole quarter, 3 months at a time, multiple calendars. So I fill out the big things and work days on this calendar, this whole packet of calendars. It's got a binder clip. It hangs on my kitchen wall. And it's got highlighted times when I work, different things I can't forget. And then each week I take it down and I fill in. So this was last week. I fill in more detail. So I have it here on my desk because I'm going to do it for next week coming up. I also have, see if I can find one under my pile. Oh crap here. I have I use these grid calendars. It's a 13-week calendar grid, and I do one for my content for 3 months, also live streams for 3 months, all the class dates and times, promotional periods. So I end up with like several calendars, but helps me see everything. And then all of that, this probably sounds crazy, but it takes a few hours, but then it's done for a whole quarter. And then I put all of that onto my Google Calendar. And then I get 10-minute reminders on my phone, my computer, and I have an Apple Watch when things are happening, because I have so many moving parts in my life to keep things going. And without this, I would definitely drop way more balls than I do. So because I plan so well in advance, though, and I encourage people in the Society of Business Witchery to plan well in advance, and everyone here at the Sisters Enchanted, I get all freaked out if their Google Calendar isn't updated, so we all know what everyone's doing. I thought for sure that I would know exactly where my time went. And I was very surprised at where my time went. Well, not very surprised, but slightly surprised. I realized the big thing for me, my work time was about on point. After the end of today, I will come in at around 32 hours of work this week, which is what I would expect. I was traveling all of last week and half the week before I was away from home. So I worked a shorter day on Monday than normal because we were in the car for 12 hours last Sunday, like 13 hours. So I started work later on Monday, and I worked part of Tuesday, which I don't normally work. So that was expected. And what I noticed though was the vast amount of time my family spends together. So my husband's a stay-at-home dad, and I don't even work full 40 hours a week, and I don't leave the house to work. So there's no commute time. And I knew that we spend a lot of time together. But what I found crazy was the amount of time all 4 of us as a family spend together, which seems ridiculous to me. Because I could be doing something during some of those times. My husband could be doing something productive. And that was a big, like, in my head, somehow I feel like he is doing things, or like I'm doing things. And really the amount of time all 4 of us together was kind of alarming. And then also the amount of time that I spent cleaning, which was crazy to me also because our house is never clean. 0 times is my house clean. And I spent, it was about 7 hours straightening up my house over this last week. And I was like, on what? The house, but it's just constant. We have a small house. We have a lot of stuff, 2 kids, and it's constant clutter. So it was very eye-opening to me. Kind of, it felt like a misuse of time. There was no time in there for me to do anything by myself. I didn't do one thing alone this week. And I was either with kids or I was working. and or with my husband or working, and that seemed silly. Like I could squeeze that in through all that time. And when I looked at the amount of time I spent just basically decluttering, because the house is, so cluttered all the time, it really made me want to double down on my commitment to not bringing stuff into our house. I've been very committed. My kids' birthdays are both in the summer, and I was like, no gifts, ice cream gift certificates, like my daughter got like a bike, things like that. But I really doubled down on no gifts for them this year. They shared a birthday party to try to minimize gifts. And yeah, so really I need to focus on my commitment to getting rid of stuff in our house and not bringing more in, because I'm not even like sweeping and vacuuming. I'm just picking stuff up 7 hours a week, it appears. And what also was a red flag to me was that I could totally probably spend a half an hour a day a week, a half a day a week, and probably hire somebody to come help, like play with the kids and help clean up toys, like a house helper kind of person, for not super much money compared to what I know that I can make per hour of focusing on work. So if I were to get somebody in to help with that, I think would actually be better. And then that 7 hours I spent straightening could be spent maybe me doing something that doesn't involve my family or kids. So that was my big eye opener for my time tracking. Yeah. I had not seen exactly how much time my family spends as a unit of 4, and it's crazy and ridiculous. So Christina says, I feel that way too. So much cleaning, literally clean all day while doing other stuff. Don't even write that down. Yeah, I wrote down that, and when I was straightening up, for sure. Erin, yes, we have a tour list at my house, older kids, that has helped me with more things, do what I need one to do. Yeah. Yes. And I totally am. I was like, I could probably hire somebody just a few hours a week for $100. And I know that I can make that in an hour of work. So it doesn't make sense for me to spend 7 hours a week cleaning toys. I could have somebody come play with my kids. We don't need to be together as much as we are. So anyway, that was my big eye opener. So I challenge you to look at your time tracker and see what your eye opener was for you, like where you're spending time you didn't expect, where it looked different, or any time stories you've been telling yourself that aren't quite true. And then you can just take a picture of your tracker and reply to any of our emails, and we'll take those through tomorrow, and I'll pick somebody on Tuesday to win a prize. All right. 3 people. I'll pick 3 people. If only one person submits, one person already did, it'll just be that person. Okay, so now let's talk about what we're here for today. Make sure I have the thing up firstly. I do. 3 changes to make right now to grow your business. You want to share this screen? Here it is. And if you guys have questions or ideas or anything along the way, definitely let me know. I'd love to chat. Let me find where the chat box went. It's hiding on me. Mercury retrograde and technology has not been good to me today. All right, can't find the chat box, but I'll toggle back and forth. All right, you guys know who I am. I've been saying it all week. I'm Sarah. My home space is the Sisters Enchanted. And yeah, we've got lots of community members. Have like 16 years of marketing experience now, and I used to be the owner of Shoreline Academic Coaching, which was a different sort of business. It was an in-person services business as opposed to online business. And through requests of people in the Sisters Enchanted community that had been going through our classes, trying to start their own businesses, at the end of 2017, I started a business witchery class, which has turned into the Society of Business Witchery this time later. And we are open for enrollment in the Society of Business Witchery. If you want to join us, you get a cool swag gift in the mail. Every few months, we do a contest in there, and I send out prizes for participation. And it's a really great small community. And if we have a live event option where you can join us in Florida in November, right on the beach, for a little mini business witchery retreat as well. Anna and I will both be there. And we're treating you to food and planning for the next year and all kinds of good stuff. So that's an optional thing, or you can just not do that and just do the Society of Business Witchery online version as well. So check that out if you're interested in joining. Why are we talking about 3 ways to be more profitable right now? Because who doesn't want that? There's things we can all do every day to be more profitable, myself included. And what you need to do is take all this information in, take notes, see what you're doing, what you're not doing. If you are just thinking, if you're toying with the idea of having a business one day, just keep this in mind for when you do start your business, right? And know these things in advance. All right, the first thing, surprise, schedule your time. To be more profitable in business, you need to schedule your time. Schedule it in as much detail as possible. So I spent the first 10 minutes probably talking about how I do this. What needs to go on your schedule? And I also just talked about this in mine. I think what needs to go is 7 hours of freaking decluttering my house. That's a ridiculous thing that for me to spend my time on compared to what I could be making money-wise. Now that said, you do have to look at your return on what you make for money. So if I was currently making $0, right, then maybe I still need to be decluttering my house and doing the late night hustle as well to get money rolling. At my point in business, I know that I can make money and I am making money. And so for me, that needs to go. But what needs to go on yours? Is it like maybe 3 days a week, you're spending 2 hours reading a book and you're trying to start a business. So maybe you need to read the book once a week and not 3 days a week for 2 hours in the short term so that in the long term, you have more time for yourself. What's most pressing and why do you think it's most pressing? When you sit down to work on your business, whether you're an established business owner or you're a new business owner or you just have an idea for a business, you have to think about why you think something is important. So quite often I'll see people in these types of classes or in the Society of Business Witchery or wherever that sit down to work on something and they are like, I'm going to do this because it needs to get done. But really there's something else they could be doing to generate money now and be more profitable now. And really what they're doing is kind of a procrastination technique. Like they're going to write another blog post, but nobody read the first 5. Or they're going to make 5 more Instagram photos, but no, like 5 people saw the first 4. And as you grow in business, this doesn't change. So we have, we actually have a pretty small Instagram audience, like 5,000 people compared to our email list of 35,000 people. And Instagram for us, we did a lot with Instagram for a little bit. And we were realizing it just is not super important. Like not a ton of people compared to other things see that. So when we sat down to look at like, oh, what are we doing right now? We're making an Instagram content plan. Well, why? Because we think we should. It's not turning into profit for us. So what is turning into profit? And let's put time there. So you've got to ask yourself, why do you think it's most pressing? Why are you doing it? And is it going to make you profitable? And look here too, what needs to go? Where can you spend less time on things? When you're scheduling your time, try to batch your work and focus on it. The idea of batching is doing lots of similar activities at once. So for me, this looks like writing. So I'm writing emails. I will sit down and spend 4 hours just writing emails. I'll write them all out on a doc with the date and the sales thing or the information or whatever it is, all gets done at once. If I'm doing videos, you'll often see in my videos, there's like 6 of them where I look exactly the same because I record 6 videos all at the same time. Sometimes I try to change my earrings or something, but really it's all done at once. I batch them. I know it's video day. I get out, I have extra hot tea next to me with extra hot water so that I can drink in between because I'm going to be talking a lot and do them all at once. Do all the writing at once, all the website stuff at once. And the reason this is great for a lot of reasons. One, you know what you're doing. There's no questions. You don't waste time questioning what you're going to do next because you know exactly what you're going to do next. Also, the idea of context switching, that we waste a lot of time switching between different things. Now, it is a learned skill to be able to context switch quickly. But it is a skill. Not everybody has it, and it's like a muscle you have to strengthen. And for most people, switching between tasks ends up being that you also check your email in between. You check Facebook in between. You read your to-do list again. You like dawdle on your cell phone for a second. And that's where the skill comes in, is being able to jump back and forth without having this lost time. And when we context switch, we have to refocus our brain on what it is we're going to do next. So batching your time to do a lot of one thing is very helpful. And even in my personal life, when I do write my calendars, now this week I was surprised to see how much time I actually spent picking up toys and decluttering my house. But when I do my calendar for the week, even my personal life, I batch sections of things I'm doing. So All of my errands go in one section, like grocery shopping. Well, it's mostly, I don't really run errands, mostly just going to the store for food, but that's all in one section. So if I'm going to more than one store, it happens all at one time. My daughter has some social emotional deficits, so we do things at home for that. And we're keeping her home for one more year before we just consider like what we're going to do for school going forward. So we do like, young kid homeschooling here, but we do that in blocks of time too. So it's not just haphazard, and everything gets blocks of time. So it's just done. And even my cleaning stuff, which ended up being that I was cleaning all the time, but batch your things as much as you can, and scheduling your time in as much detail as possible is going to help you be more profitable, because you're going to waste less time, and you only will hopefully do things that are important. And when you schedule your time, you'll schedule in profit things each day. So like each day, if you don't have money to run advertising and you want to make 5 connections on Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn or in person at a networking event, that is down there. Like you schedule in an hour time where you connect with 5 new people, and that gets done because it's scheduled in. It doesn't get pushed to the bottom of this to-do list because you just don't want to do it. It feels stressful. You're an introvert. It's on there. It's scheduled. You need to do it. Number 2, simplify. And if you follow us at the Sisters Enchanted, you've noticed we have simplified hugely over last year, and we continue to simplify. We are even further simplifying things. Simplify your offerings, simplify your wording, your graphics, simplify, simplify, simplify. The more you have to offer, the harder it is to sell. The more different things you talk about, the harder it is to get people to listen to you. The more people you're talking to, the harder it is to talk to people. The more you have, period, makes things just harder. And in your personal life too, like I said, the more stuff I have, the harder it is for me to clean my house. So simplify your offerings. Maybe you make physical goods and you make bath and body products, and so you have lotions and deodorants and whatever. You might have different lines, but how can you simplify and streamline that? Like, what pathway of product is for this specific person? What pathway of product is for this specific person? The more you sell, the more you have, whether it's a service, like if you're a massage therapist, but you offer like 5 different kinds of massage, plus you have 5 different time offerings, plus like 5 different grouped offerings. That's a lot for a consumer to take in. And the more decisions people have to make, the less likely they are to act and purchase or act on anything for that matter. So if you have lots of different things, because it's the nature of your product or the nature of your business, see how you can simplify the path of those things. So it's easier for people to see like, oh, I have sensitive skin. This is the path of products I need to look at, instead of looking at everything. Or like if you make scented candles, or you make metaphysical tools or products or something like that. Like, see how you can, again, simplify that path, like seasonal products, everyday things that you need every day. Like, make it easy for people to see where to go. If you're a service or you have online classes or online services or something like that, again, have as few as possible. The people that I know that have well beyond $1 million businesses typically have like 1 to 2 offerings, and that's it. So simplify, simplify, simplify. And I will say at the Sisters Enchanted, since we've simplified, we have made more money by doing nothing other than simplifying. So it works. Simplify. Simplify your words, your graphics, everything needs to be simpler, and it's easier to digest. Number 3, reverse engineer your offer. So this is how you can be more profitable today. What is the big thing that you want to sell? So if you are physical products, I'm just gonna have a sip of my water here. If you're physical products, maybe you have a physical, maybe you have a custom good that costs like $200, and it has like the best of the best stuff, and it's like totally custom drawn up and created or whatever. Or if you're a service, maybe you have a high price service. If you're a course, you have one high price one. What is the big thing that you want to sell? The high ticket sort of thing. And then work backward. What comes before that, before that, before that, and then map it out and create a plan to get there. And that's going to make you more profitable than just looking at, oh, I sell this, I sell this, I offer this, I offer this. Knowing what that end thing is going to help you make sure everything you create up to that point is in one pathway and leads to that purchase. So for example, looking at like a spa or something, somebody who has a spa. If you do, I don't know, what's expensive? Is like some kind of facial like Botox treatments or something, or like some kind of like big mask situation that's like $150 or $300 a session. I don't know how much, but say that's like that's the expensive thing. It's this like big refacial thing that's quite expensive. You could start with like the face mask of the month, which is $80. And then that could even come down to like a sample of a face product that you give on like a $20 manicure or something. So you're getting people in at a low cost service, and then you're giving them some reason to buy the next service, which is a little bit more money, still within their price range. And when they're there, they're seeing how awesome that is. And you're able to tell them in person, like, this is so awesome. You're seeing these benefits. When you do this service, it's going to be even more awesome, and the benefits are even greater, which then allows that person to keep moving forward. If you sell physical goods where you have this like big, super cool custom thing, maybe the person buys like your $20, like your $20 lotion or your $20 candle or whatever here. The next thing maybe is a bundle of them where they get like a bundle of your products. And then the last thing that you can sell them on is like, oh, well, I can make you your own custom skin product according to like X, Y, and Z, your dietary needs, like whatever. You put in this whole plan and they get a custom thing. But you've sold them along the way into how great your not custom stuff is. So how amazing must your custom thing be? And then again, if you're a course or service, it's smaller things along the way. We're more profitable when we start. A lot of people start from this like first part. What's the first thing people are going to see? But when you start with what is your largest thing people are going to see, the more expensive thing, the hottest, biggest offer, and then we can make baby steps to get there. We always have that in mind. What is this and why do you need it? And then what can I do to help get you to there and to help your transformation along the way? And likewise, what can I do to weed out people that's not right for? So there are always going to be people that aren't right for your service. And so having just the right things along the way is going to make you more profitable, because those are going to act as filters for selling the higher price thing. And that higher price thing, you will make more money when you're offering it to exactly the right people that are most likely to say yes. When you're offering like your $200 custom candle package, or your like $200 custom metaphysical tools package, or your $1,000 class offering or something like that, if you're just offering it to like anybody, you're going to spend a lot of time offering it to people who are going to say no just because of price. But if you already know that you filtered out people along the way that aren't going to spend $20, they're not going to spend $100, they're not going to spend $500, like whatever it is, or they didn't like the $50 product, so they're definitely not going to like the $200 product. You've used all these as filters, so you're being more profitable by only promoting to people that you think are actually going to want to say yes to that product, because you've had a great segment along the way to filter them in and make sure you're offering to just the right people. All right, so those are 3 things. Let's see here. I went through them very quickly. And I see there are some comments here, so I'll look at those. And let me know, I'm going to unplug my light because it's doing that weird purple thing. Let me know if there's other questions, comments, what I can help you with. But the 3 things, the first one is scheduling your time. You need to schedule your time. The second thing is definitely simplifying. And then the third is starting with the big thing and moving backwards. Let me go back through the comments here. So this, Erin says the tracker made me more productive and I felt better about it. Christina, this week was so different than previous weeks. So I went from almost nothing business-wise and all of a sudden, bam, and now I'm overwhelmed. That's what happens. That's how it goes. I think this is Cheyenne. Do you have a schedule out in the family area so everyone can see? Yeah. So this packet that I have here, it's all, well, now it's, I throw away the old ones, but it starts out each quarter with a full 3 months worth of calendars. And I actually do them in advance. So I will do probably within the next 2 to 3 weeks, I will do the whole rest of the year. And again, I just put the big things on there, like the rocks, they're called, in like the time tracking work planning industry. I don't know, what is that? What's that thing? Anyway, they're called rocks. So I put all the rocks on there. So those are my work days. Appointments we already know about, like kids, when they have physicals, and my husband and things like that. Days I know we're going to be off for some reason. Travel days, all the rocks go on there. And then, yes, the rocks in the sand. Yeah, the rocks go on there. And then once per week, usually sometime between Friday and Sunday, I sit down for the next week and I really hash out like the whole day what we're doing. And I try to do like a dinner plan, which we don't always stick to. We're actually, that's like one thing we're really bad at. But I try to put in the whole dinner plan. And when I do the rocks, I do use the brand Frixion by Pilot, I think it is. They have erasable pens and erasable highlighters actually too. So I use erasable highlighters and pens so that I can, inevitably something comes up where like we get an opportunity to go somewhere or do something, or I need to work like an extra day and I had all this other stuff there and I have to, erase it and change it. But having it set up is very helpful, especially because I am self-employed and it makes me have to stick to my schedule so that I, if I don't have a schedule, then I don't end up working. Like I end up, everybody, if people don't see me scheduled, then they take advantage of that and they're like, oh, well, Sarah can just do it. She's not working. So I have to have a schedule down for work, and it helps me be disciplined and makes it so other people can't take advantage of me not working. And then my husband, he's mostly a stay-at-home dad, but he does do side projects here and there for people. Like he was doing, he was installing a door for somebody recently, and he mows his mom's lawn and our neighbor's lawn. Like he helps out with some stuff like that. And it helps him stay in the schedule for a couple weeks out, because then if an opportunity does come for him to do a side project, he doesn't have to ask me when he can do it. He can just look at the calendar and he knows when he can do it. And then he marks it on there that he has a side project, which then really helps me to then know like, oh, maybe I should get a sitter for this week because I'm going to have the kids for like 3 days straight plus I have work and it's too much. So yeah, my calendar goes up where everybody sees it. Cinnamon says, I spent far too much time flipping around duties, having trouble figuring out how to list them on the schedule. Like 5 minutes I had to sit due to pain. Yeah, so Cinnamon, and I know, Cinnamon, that you're working on starting a new business venture too. I feel like that for me, like sometimes on my calendar, I would write like relaxed 10, so if it was a half an hour time period, I'd write that in there. And I find that, and this is just totally a personality trait that's different to every person, but if I found myself with like 5 or 10 or 15 minutes where I really was like waiting for something for some reason, that's when I check my email, so if you're just starting a business, you probably don't have like an abundance of emails, but that's when I check my email and I go through and forward things to other people that can answer, because I'm like able to get a lot of emails. So in like those 10-minute times, if I'm sitting down, I have a toddler that's apparently going to breastfeed till he gets married. If I'm sitting down nursing him or something because he fell and got hurt and he's crying, in those 10 minutes, I check emails. So I would mark those as 10 work minutes, even though I'm also nursing him, but I'm not on Facebook. I'm forwarding emails to where they need to go. So I try to use 10 minutes like that, but I know that you have a different situation going on. So, and that's totally okay. If for you, maybe at the end of the week, you're like, oh, well, I had 2 hours of rest time due to my disability, and that's okay. And then like, what do you need to know about that? Maybe you're like, oh, I spent 2 hours doing this. Maybe when I sit down on the sofa, I want to have a basket of stuff nearby to do. Or maybe I just want to relax for those 2 hours and read a book. That's fine too. Yeah. But that is challenging. You have those like weird blips of time and you're like, I don't really know. Sometimes if I do 3 things in a half an hour time period, I would just write down all 3 things in there too. Here it says, my massage business was very successful because I kept it simple. 3 prices based on time. Massage was custom blended per person. Needed to hear you say this to apply to my photography business. Yes. Yes, that works. Being simple. Stephanie schedule showed that I'm lazy, very lazy. That's okay. Some people, it's just my husband. He needs a lot more downtime than I do. Kim is asking about the Magical Summer Bundle. I'm a Reiki healer, medium, working for 1 year publicly. I need to improve my confidence and grow my business. In there, I would do the money one. That will help you with business the most in there. The money one, and then you choose your Reiki healer and medium, and then energy protection. That's what I would do, Kim. Those two first. All right, so let's see here. Is there any other questions that I can help anybody with, or ideas you'd like around your business? So the ideas with being more profitable, again, are scheduling your time and basically just using it wisely. Why is my light all like jacked up today? I'm like glowing. Use your time as wisely as possible. Schedule in as much as you can and then stick to it. Stick to it, stick to it, stick to it. And that is where discipline comes in. And that is like the hardest thing ever, is to be disciplined, right? But it's really, really, really important. You can't hit that home enough, is that if you want to have your own business and be successful, you have got to be disciplined, or get somebody to help you be disciplined. Simplify. The clearer you can be about what you offer, the simpler your offerings are. And the fewer things you have, the fewer people you talk to, the easier it is for you to make money. There's less complicated it is all around. And then the third thing was looking at where you want people to be and planning backwards versus starting at the small things and planning forward, because that's when we tend to get like 10 small things and then maybe don't all line up, or we end up not being simple. Where when we can see what the end is, we can figure out like how can we filter people out to get there. And how can we introduce people to this incrementally? So start with your big thing and work backwards. And that's going to help you be more profitable in all the stuff that you offer. And Erin says, don't get boundaries. Don't overextend yourself. And yes, clear on offers time. Yeah, not overextending yourself and having boundaries for sure is super, super huge, and will help you be more profitable, because you won't find yourself doing things you don't want to do, that you don't like to do. Just yesterday, we're working on some things, and we were trying, and we were coming up, like looking at our offer ins or whatever, and somebody suggested to me like a whole separate offer that I do or whatever, and I like entertained it for a second, and then I was like, no, this is a boundary. I'm not doing this. And it's not in alignment with being more simple or simplifying and following this train. But this person was trying to get me to do something, like do a different thing and whatever. The details are neither here nor there, but it was I had to set that boundary for myself, because I'm so known to say yes to things. And that I think they expected me to say yes. And then I was like toying with the idea of saying yes. And then I was like, no, this has to be a hard no, because it's going to take away from my other offerings. It's going to make me miserable in the end, because it's a lot more things I have to do. And the answer is no. So yeah, having boundaries for sure. And in your personal life too, if you own your own business, I struggle with this because I do have, like I said, I work part-time, but I have a lot of big projects going on where I should be working another day a week right now probably. And I have a very hard time making, like my husband stand in, or getting a sitter for a fourth day, and putting up that boundary around my workspace from my personal time. That's been very difficult for me. Also, I don't necessarily want to work 4 full days, but finding boundaries and discipline with myself as well. And that will help you to be more profitable, which is one that I'm currently working on, because I do need to squeeze in an extra day for at least a couple of weeks to finish up some big projects we have at the Sisters Enchanted. So yeah, those are some things for you to think about to be more profitable in your business right now. And I'll swing it back to the first point again, with scheduling your time, asking yourself, when it comes to the business things that you're scheduling in, asking yourself why you're doing them. Because so many things you sit down to do, you don't need to do. Like, why are you making 5 more graphics? Why are you editing your website again? Why are you writing 2 more blog posts? Did anybody see the first ones? Did they result in any sales? Maybe you need to work on your offer. Maybe you need to reach out to 5 people. Maybe you need to get 10 new people on your email address. Why are you doing these things? If the answer isn't directly correlated to you earning something or gaining a following somehow, you need to not do it, particularly if you are limited on time and money. You really need to focus on the why and make sure you're spending your time in places that matter and not places that are like vanity sort of things, like writing that other blog post, making another Instagram photo. You want to do bottom line things, not vanity things if you're short on time or money. All right, so that is it for this one. Remember you can take pictures of your time trackers and just reply to any of our emails. You can do that through tomorrow, through the end of Monday, and I'll pick 3 people that submit to win a prize. I'm not sure it'll be probably some swag. I just ordered a whole box of new magnets and things that we'll send out. And if you're interested in joining us at the Society of Business Witchery, you can do that. The price is going up on it a little bit, and the reason is because as I was making our ads lesson for this month and the launch lesson, I was like, man, I am literally giving away the blueprints for like what I do. So it is going up a little bit, and I'd love to spend time helping people hash out ideas. And then if you were interested in joining us for Florida, then that is like, you got to decide that and join this week, because I'm booking the place this week and I will be out of beds because I'm only going to book to the number of people that are already registered. So that's what you need to know about the Society of Business Witchery. And each month on the 5th of the month, I started sending out an email with some lessons learned from my business last month, everybody that signed up for any of our free business classes. So you can look forward to that for August 5th. You'll learn everything, or 3 things anyway, that I learned, or ideas, thoughts that I had based on what I did in July. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me. And yeah, let me know if I can ever help with anything. And you can also book in a free chat to see if the Society of Business Witchery is a good fit for you on the page for that. And I won't be afraid to tell you it's not if it's not. The last person I talked with, I told her it wasn't. So I will be really honest with you. All right, guys, have a great rest of your day, and I'll talk to you all soon. Bye.